Max,
Yeah, babes.
what a pleasure, bro.
I'm so glad we're here together.
It's good to be back in the situation.
In the situation.
In the situation. We're very much in the middle of the situation.
Yes, we are.
We've got keyboards laying around. We've got guitars laying around.
Oh, you're getting the perfect creative chaos that
good.
we've made the whole album in.
Good. And
Yeah.
I think it's important to say this is where you create. This is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Your last two albums, was it, that were pretty
Pretty
much
much.
fully done in here?
Pretty much, yeah, and especially this new one. The last, for Colorvision, it was like half and half with some of the other producers, but for this one, pretty much all of it was in here.
The whole hurrah.
So
The
nuts.
whole hurrah.
Yeah.
What about a space? What does a space need to have to get your brain moving?
I think touch points for inspiration, like if I, for example, there's a song called Butterflies on the album that's sort of an older song, and I saw a painting of a butterfly that's in the house that I came out, and I was like, what if we write a song called Butterflies? So sometimes there's a lot of clutter and a lot of mess, but you never know when you see one little thing, or a blueberry, for example, that's over there, and it maybe just sparks something. And so I think having some creative touch points. And then I think personally for me, I like having light. I like having outside. I like being able to just feel whatever energy of the time of day you're writing in.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got yourself surrounded with, as I say, all the gear, and we've also got your accolades, bro, which I think is really important. We've got some plaques back there. How important is it to you to reflect on what you've done and the success that you've had? Because a lot of people, might want to stay humble about it and, hide these things, but I'm the same. I'm like, if I've done it, put it up and show the world.
At first it was like I was starting to get them and I didn't really put them up on the wall or anything. But what I found that's nice is sometimes it's a good reminder that like every song starts from scratch. We're all in the same place.
Yes.
And any of these songs that have a plaque or have done something came from that same space. But it's a nice confidence boost to be like, we've done it once, and it who knows if it'll ever be the same way, but at least it's like the reminder of it all started from that. Yeah. And maybe it becomes something, and maybe it doesn't. It doesn't change the song's identity,
And last time I was here, Emily was like 0.1 minute away from giving birth.
Yeah.
And now you've got a 3-year-old?
I know.
Bro, that is insane. How has that evolved your life? I mean, I'm sure in so many ways, but creatively, how has that changed your vibe, your flow, your everything?
It's amazing. I mean, there's a song, the last song of the album is Edie Celine, her song, and I wrote that for her in my arms in the hospital, and I mean, she's just a whole new point of love that I can write songs about. There's another one called Love Never Felt Like This on the album that I wrote for her, and it's a new muse for my whole world. And also it's just, we were talking about this before the interview, but it's been amazing to just kind of be empowered by she comes first, my family comes first, and any opportunity, any song, it like comes from a place of, if I'm not with my family, I want to make sure that it's worth the time being away, that it's going to be a really special thing. So she's really empowered me in every way.
And you use the word muse, which I like. Now you've got, 2 muses.
Yeah.
Do you find that you've become more inspired after her birth?
Oh yeah, 100%. And even for my love for Emily, for my wife, it's a different thing that I see, and there's a different love, a different respect. We've grown so much closer, and there's been even more hardships because of her birth, and making time for each other, and really treasuring our relationship. So it's like such a different space of sort of the songs that I even get inspired to write for her, because there's a deeper respect and love.
And the last era, I mean, Colorvision, we're still paying tribute to it. There's little, notes of Colorvision all around. That era did so well for you. Kind of took you into this new stratosphere, introduced you to this new audience. I mean, the tour was great, singles were great. How did the success and what that album did for you kind of play a part in where this next journey is taking you?
So thank you for that. Colorvision was the first time that I felt like my little wild, crazy vision of what I wanted the whole thing to look like.
It was an explosion.
That was very satisfying, because even having the giant cube and all of these pieces, it was like, if we can dream it, can we do it? And that album was that. And so that same inspiration came for Love in Stereo, because like there's the giant heart that's on the cover of this one. Same with the creative director, Sarah Eisman. We're just like, can we build like our own crazy heart? Like, we're just dreamers. So it really inspired me to say, we can only fail at it. Like, if we don't go for it, we'll never know if we can succeed. So it's been so fun to see these little sketches become real things. And that's been amazing with this album, inspired by Colorvision.
So interesting, eh? And like, as you say, everything starts from scratch, you know, and it's cool to see now that you're at a place. And I mean, I'm lucky. I've heard the album, I've heard the record, bro, and it's sounding solid. Like you've done another concise piece of work. You know, some of these songs are fresh to the album. Some of these songs that we've heard, whether they've been pre-release singles, things like that. I mean, obviously, It's You's already out, Gucci Bag's already out, Wasabi's already out. How did you decide, okay, this is what people are going to hear, this is the teaser, and this is what we're going to save until the big day? How do you make those decisions?
Really tough question. It's for one, some of these weren't even created when some of those songs came out, of course. Like Whoa, for example, was a relatively new one. There were certain songs, but I think it was a combination of I still feel like there's more to put on this. So there's more songs, and what songs feel right now. Those were the ones that started coming out. And then as far as what we chose as the last songs to keep for the album, it was tough. There were a couple that didn't make it that actually a couple amazing artists are now doing for their albums. But the choice of like, oh, I love this song so much. How does it make sense? Yeah. That was really difficult. And then the final choices, I think I just wanted to, once Love in Stereo was the name, and I really wanted to make sure that every sort of sonic flavor of what love means to me needed to be represented. That made it easier to decide, like, Love Never Felt Like This and Whoa are two different palettes that I want to represent that. So it was tough, but ultimately I just trusted my gut.
Yeah. And I mean, Whoa is one of my favorites. I love that. On the album. I mean, it slaps. You can't like not listen to that song and enjoy yourself and have a good time. And I saw you put outreach on social media. You were asking the fans, like, how should I spell Whoa? What were the two ways of spelling it again? Because the way it's spelled on the album, WOAH, is how I would have spelled it. What was the other option?
WHOA. It's a cute, like, if you watch...
I've seen that, though, but no.
You're going to start seeing it now. Anybody who's watching this, if you watch subtitles for, like, Friends or any shows, if you hear Whoa, you'll see it spelled with the HWHOA. You'll see both spellings so many places. And they actually, I think, technically have different meanings. Like, Whoa... One, I wish I should know. I have a song called Whoa. But one is more of, like, in awe, and the other is more like stop.
Okay, so what did you mean with this one?
Oh, like an awe, of course. Yeah. No, stop. It's the love song.
That's what I thought when I heard the song.
But it was funny to see. It was I was like, I should see, because genuinely, before I put that post out, I was submitting the track list like the day after.
You're like,
I need to figure it out now, and I haven't decided. Even the demo, the mix was WHOA.
Really?
The last mix, but I always had it spelled WOAH.
Yes. No, I think you made a sturdy decision with that one.
Thank you.
How many songs do you have to kind of create before you come to the final? How many songs are on the album, mate?
There's 12.
12. How many songs got scrapped before you came to these final 12?
Like 80.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and you've heard some of them. Happily Ever After for TXT was one that.
So that was possible for you before it.
Yeah, we were in this room you're sitting in. Dwilly, who also produced Well, I told you, and Strings, and Brandon Cobain, we were all together, and we were writing again because Whoa was the first song we did as a trio, and I was like, let's do it again. We started writing the song. And it just ended up at the end. I think I was like, I don't know if I'm obsessed with this song, but I don't know if this fits into this album soundscape. And so and then we sent it to TXT, and they did their thing, and it was amazing.
I mean, TXT, they're the guys, they're the homies. Love those guys. They're so talented, and I think you guys work creatively together. When handing off a song, you know, whether it be, you know, that one or Yet to Come or any of these songs that you've written for other artists, what does that feel like to you? Does it feel like you're kind of handing a baby over to someone else? Does it feel like you're you know, here it is, now you do what you want with it? Like, what is that feeling like? It must be strange to create something and have to hand it off.
I love the collaborative process of it. Like, what we did in this room is so different than what you'll hear for Happily Ever After. They put so much of their soul, they co-wrote, like they really took, you know, our song and Clay and made it their own. And I love that because then I get to be like the biggest fan on the sidelines. Yes. And they all, anytime I get the pleasure to co-write or have a song go somewhere else, it is like a little baby. It's like you want to make, if it's special, and rarely do you get a special song. You know, I write a lot of songs and sometimes they're okay and sometimes they're special. And when you have the special one, you want it to go somewhere where they'll be appreciating it.
Yes.
You know, and so it is, that's why the decision of like who it goes to and who takes it and how they're going to treat it, it's really important. Yeah,
it's important. And I think, you know, you're in safe hands when it's a group like TXT.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because they're so talented. Now you've got a very special feature on this album. Stupid in Love.
Oh yes.
Featuring one of our favorites. Okay, first off, SSERAFIM, one of the biggest groups in the world right now. congratulations on nabbing a feature there.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Talk me through how that happened, and it's only one member, right?
Yeah, YUNJIN, and she's awesome. It was, I've started to learn, I'm a go-getter like you are. Like I'm usually...
You gotta be a go-getter.
But honestly, I've started to realize that some of the most special things that have happened in my life, they kind of came very organically. And with YUNJIN, it came organically. I was in Korea, and we were talking, I work, anytime I go to Korea, I get to work with the BTS team, and I was working with P-Dog, and I was in the studio with him and his team, and the A&R said, hey, I don't know if you have any time, but like, I'm best friends with the A&R for SSERAFIM, and they were wondering if you would try writing for one of their songs. I was like, oh my, yeah, of course. I was a big fan, and I loved Unforgiven, and it's just so funny. Like I was a fan of the group, and I was like, of course I'll try. And it was crazy because there was a packed trip, and they sent me the track. I was doing promo, like I was in a van writing my top line for the track.
Well, weren't you in a plane when you wrote Yet to Come?
Yeah. So sometimes it happens like that. Yeah, like literally I'm in this van in traffic trying to do like whatever I can. So then, I get to the studio with the producers, and they gave me this really beautiful gift that YUNJIN had written a note on the back, and it was cool. It was nice that she said she wanted to work together, and then I stayed a few more days. I got to meet her in person. I did the dance for Boom Boom, and it was
got to get some social content, bro. When you're
they were like, yeah, you want to do this? Do you want to do the dance for one of our songs? And I was like, sure, but I don't want to be trash. And then what was crazy is that we did the dance. There was a performance happening on the stage behind us. Different music. Couldn't hear the music for the dance.
Just had to like...
And they were just counting out 5, 6, 7, 8. And I was like, I'm already not skilled enough to do like...
No, fair enough.
But it was amazing. And then, I sent her Stupid in Love, and she was down to be a part of it. And the song was birthed.
And it works out perfectly. It worked out perfectly. The song's catchy. Her vocals, I think, complement yours and the song and the message so wonderfully. So looking forward to seeing that do its thing.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It is going to do its thing.
Oh, it's been so fun already just to see the reaction of everybody's fans to it, which is cool. I love that song. Wrote that song in here. Started it right over there with Cody. He was on keyboards, and it's cool to see like any song. Like we said, I geek out anytime a song goes from that little speck to like what it could become. It's
part of the fun, bro. It's why you're doing this, because you love it,
yeah.
And the love is evident. I mentioned I saw you, on the Colorvision tour. It's such a killer show. You just had so much. You radiated so much energy on that stage. Filled the theater with your energy. When you're writing these songs, when you're creating these songs in here, as we say, are you thinking about that live element?
Definitely. I mean, it's a big inspiration, especially if the song calls for it. It's not like one of the intimate ones, like a Stupid in Love. I cannot wait for the day when we got the horn section and we're playing and the energy in the crowd, like that gets me even more inspired and juiced. Yeah.
Well, because I can imagine you'd be sitting here like making a song being like, I cannot wait to get out onto the stage and like let people, because it's a different experience, right? Like, where do you prefer to be, on the stage or in the stew, or is it a bit of both? Like, what's the relationship like for you?
I'd say on the stage, for sure. I become a different version of myself that I just can't access anywhere else. Like, I almost forget about that version until I'm there again, and then it just feels so invigorating. I'm so alive. And one of my favorite things is just that I'm not thinking about what's happening after the show. It's like the most present I can possibly be is on stage. So I think that, but of course I take the studio so seriously because the material has to be the best it can be on that stage. So I feel like the studio is actually much more of the work for me to make sure that I'm bringing the best I can. But then the stage is the reward. It's the best.
Where does the fun begin? Like, at what point of the journey from curation to getting it out to release day to promo to music videos to concert, like, where does it stop becoming like a job and like become fun? Or is it fun the whole time?
It's always fun. I have a very fun job, but this is honestly when it starts to get really fun. Because I know I've like put the anxiety, all the feelings of like, it needs to be the best, or like, is the mix right? Like, every detail is so important to me. So once the creative is pretty much done and like I see the album cover and everything, then I can kind of relax a little more. And then I just get to like be excited and talk about it and talk about all the wonderful artists I get to work with. So this is when I'm having fun right now. It's great.
Good. I'm glad, as you should be. As you say, you've got a fun job. We can't complain. Every time I find myself complaining about something, I'm like, listen to yourself. Look what we get to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
You mentioned working with fun artists, and you've got some great features on this. Barzi's on there. Jake's on there. how do you choose these people? What does someone need to have for you to want to create with them, or does it come naturally? Is it just like, let's see what we got, and
Definitely naturally. Definitely also, I need to be a fan. Like the song "Say Less" with Duckworth. I'm just a big Duckworth fan. Like when
I saw that, I was like, Duckworth, that's pretty good.
That's just my guy, man. And I just I listen to his stuff. He's a regular, aux choice for our road trips and stuff.
I haven't heard the word aux in ages.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bluetooth now.
Yeah, so whatever it is. Bluetooth choice, I guess. But he's played regularly. Emily and I are screaming out like sneaky little, sneaky little, sneaky little Link, all of his songs. So it's great to just, it's one of my favorite parts of the job that I do collaborate a lot. So I can just be like a big fan of somebody and be like, oh, how cool would it be to have them a part of this song. So that's usually, honestly, I'm just like a big fan that gets to work with my favorite artists. Yeah.
Who's the dream? You got the is there the number one? Who's the
Great question.
Let's put the manifestations out there.
I'm going to say it now. I've said it many times. It's Dolly Parton. And the reason why, obviously, I've just her whole world, her philanthropy, her writing, the way she's handled her career and her fans, and I'm one of them. I think I've been manifesting for a while. I think we talked about it. She wrote me a letter that I have in my house.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I almost met her this summer, and I had the address. I had it all. At 6 p.m. the night before, it was like, Dolly's sick. She has to reschedule tomorrow. So I have faith, but
I have faith too. I mean, that's closer than most people get.
Literally, I had
an appointment made up.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I was in Atlanta. We went to
your
Nashville.
Outfit ready to go?
On the day off on tour, we routed the bus to Nashville just so I could see Dolly. So it's but I'll do that anytime. If she calls, I'll be there tonight.
There are some people like that where it's you drop anything. And I mean, that's a good one. That's a great one. And I'd like to see how you would do that.
Yeah.
How you would fuse each other's styles together.
Me too. That'll be a fascinating experience because she was a big fan of Butterflies, the Butterfly song.
Oh, no
she
way.
almost
That's a compliment
got to be
and
a
a half.
part of that, which was amazing. That was so cool. Yeah.
So I think you're still a student, right? You're still learning. You're
Always.
still finding things. And where do you find, when you're feeling dry, where do you find those new pieces of inspiration? Is it going back in time and listening to, I see the Prince vinyl there.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to the Staples, listening to where do you find that?
Yes. It's a combination. I love to listen to more vintage sounds, obviously Stevie Wonders and Prince and Michael, all of our favorites.
The Kings.
But then I do try to keep up as much as I can with new exciting stuff or more underground stuff. And it's great to see. I'm a big Jungle fan. I'm a big, not underground, obviously, they're popping off, which is great. But it's cool to see just being inspired by saying wow, check out this artist. They've stuck true to their sound, and it just takes some time sometimes to get the audience to match it. So so I think that's it's fun to be inspired by that. And like I said, it's always the muses. I gotta have the title. Stupid in Love was such a easy title because my wife and I got married in 9 months. We got engaged in 4 months, and we were literally stupid in love. So it always comes from the story first.
Yeah.
And as long as I got stories, then we'll go from there.
No, that's all I want, bro. All I want is a good story.
Yeah.
I just want to be 70 and have a load of good stories that I can pass down the line. Well done, man. I'm really proud of you. It's been cool to watch this journey. I'm excited for where this era takes you. And the craziest part is you just don't know. You just don't know what doors this is going to open, because it's going to open many, and you can anticipate that. But with things like this, as we say, you're having this baby, putting it out into this world, and letting it kind of run away and do its own thing. So excited to watch. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
And we'll be doing this again for the next one.
Let's go, baby. My man. Thanks for coming.